Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. In today's video we are going to learn how to make this beautiful red flower garland. This garland can be used to decorate your house and can also be used to decorate the puja place. You can place it over a photo frame of a god or a goddess and it's going to look lovely. So let's get started. And the details of the yarns will be given in the description box. So today I'll be using a hook of 3.5 mm. We'll be starting off by making a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 20. So we'll first make this strand of red flower and then we will make the white and green flowers separately, and then overall we will assemble the garland. So here we're making a chain of 20. After chain 20 we will make an extra chain of 4. This is for the flower. Then we're going to make one double crochet on the 4th chain. So we're going to make one double crochet into the 4th chain, and then we are going to make a chain 1 picot. For that we're going to chain 1 and we're going to put a hook into these two stitches here and pull the yarn through it and slip stitch it. So this is a chain 1 picot. Now we are going to chain 3 and then we are going to slip stitch into the same chain where we had started our petal. So this is one petal. So we have created one petal here. We're going to chain 3 again for the second petal. Make one double crochet. Over the double crochet we're going to make a chain 1 picot. And then we are going to make a chain of 3 and then slip stitch it back into the same chain. So we are going to work into the same space, and into the space using the same pattern we are going to make total of 5 petals. So this picot on top of double crochet gives a pointy look to the petals. So we'll be making a total of 5 petals in the same space. So this is our 5th petal and we are slip stitching it back into the same space. So after this we are going to insert a hook into the center, and below it we have the chain of 20. So into the second chain we are going to insert a hook and pull the yarn through it, and then we are going to pull the yarn through our current stitch. So after doing this we're going to count 2 petals from the last stitch. So these 2 petals, and the space between the second and the third petal we're going to pull the yarn and we're going to make a slip stitch. So while making the slip stitch, hold the 2 yarns with 2 fingers and with the other finger pull the yarn in the opposite direction. So while doing this, what happens is we get the stitch in the center of the flower. So we're going to make a chain of 7 now. And then we are going to chain 4. This 4 is for the petal. and then we're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain. Then we're going to make a chain 1 picot on top, and then we're going to make a chain of 3 and then slip stitch it into the same space. So we are repeating the same pattern what we did for the first flower. So we are going to make 5 petals here also, and then we're going to complete this flower. So we'll be making a total of 4 flowers together. So let me show you this how to bring the stitch into the center once again. Put our hook into the center, and into the chain that is below it we are going to insert it there and pull the yarn through it, and then we are going to pull this yarn through the existing stitch. Now this is the last stitch and the last petal. So the first 2 petals we're going to count, and between the second and the third petal we're going to pull the yarn through the stitch, and then we're going to pull it in the opposite direction. So we have the stitch in the center, and then we're going to chain 7 again. So between 2 flowers we will be having a chain of 7. So what we're going to do is we have started off with chain of 20. Then we are going to make 4 flowers with chain 7 spacing. Then we are going to make a chain of 15, and we're going to make 4 more flowers. And then we're going to make a chain of 20, and here as you can see we have 2 flowers and a bud. So the last flower we are going to make with only 4 petals. So like we are making all of them with 5 petals, but the second last, that is the flower before the bud, we are going to have only 4 petals. Now I'm going to show you how to make the bud. As usual we're going to chain 7, and after the chain 7 we'll pull this loop and then yarn over, and into the same stitch we're going to pull a loop. So we'll pull through it around 3 times, and once we have all the loops in the hook we are going to pull through it and then make a slip stitch. We're going to chain 1 now and then pull the loop again, and like what we did on the other side we are going to pull through the stitch 3 times by yarning over each time, and when we have all the loops in the hook we'll pull through all of them and then slip stitch. So we going to fold it this way, and into the base center area we're going to make a slip stitch, and again through the side we are going to make another slip stitch. Now we can pull the yarn tight, and then we can trim off the tail yarn. So once you trim off the tail yarn, to hide this tail yarn, what you can do is you can insert your hook into one side of the bud and then pull it to the inside of the bud and pass it through one of the stitches and then trim it off. So the yarn will be hidden in the center of the bud here. Now we will make the white flower. So to make that we're going to make a magic ring. Before making the magic ring, leave a long tail and then start the magic ring and then chain 1. So this is the center part of the flower. We're going to make 5 half double crochets into the magic ring. To get 5 petals we are going to make 5 half double crochets. If you want 6 petals, you will have to make 6 half double crochets. So here we are making 5 half double crochets into the magic ring. This is the third one. The fourth and the fifth. So once we have 5 half double crochets, we will pull the tail yarn and close the ring, and then we are going to slip stitch it to the first stitch. So we have these two loops here of the first stitch. We're going to pass our hook through them, and then we are going to make a slip stitch. So after making a slip stitch, we are going to chain one, and then we are going to leave a long tail here. So the starting and the ending tail, we are going to leave it long because we are going to use this at the end to tie it to the garland. So now you will be having here 5 spaces. We are going to join the white yarn. You can join it into any of the space. So we'll pull the white yarn through any of the space, and then we are going to chain one. After chain one, we are going to pull the loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through the stitch 4 times. While pulling through, make sure you're keeping the loops loose, otherwise it will be difficult at the end to finish off the stitch. So after we have pulled through 4 times, we're going to pull through all the loops, and then we're going to make a slip stitch on top. Then we're going to make a chain of 1, and then yarn over, and into the next stitch we are again going to pull through 4 times like we did in the previous petal. So once we have pulled through 4 times, we are going to pull through all the loops, and then we are going to slip stitch and then a chain one. So we are going to do this in each of the stitches, and since we had 5 half double crochet, we will be having 5 spaces. So we'll be having at the end a total of 5 petals. Here we have completed 5 petals, and this is the last petal. Here too we are going to slip stitch, chain one, and then we are going to slip stitch it to the top of the first petal. So after this, we are going to go to this chain one space, and here we are going to slip stitch. So after that, we are going to join the green yarn by pulling it through this loop, and going to the yarn at the back, that is the white and the green yarn, hold it together so that we can stitch over it. So we're going to make one more slip stitch in the same space. Then we are going to make a chain of 3. After chain 3, we are going to make 1 double crochet into the same space, and then we are going to make 1 treble crochet, and on top of the treble crochet we are going to make a chain 1 picot. After this, we are going to make 1 more double crochet in the same space, followed by a chain of 3, and we're going to slip stitch this chain of 3 to the same space. So we're going to slip stitch at the base. Now we're going to move on to the, so this is one leaf completed. So now we're going to move on to the next space, that is chain 1 space. So we're going to make a slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, and then we are going to make a chain of 3 again, 1 double crochet, 1 treble crochet, chain 1 picot on top of the treble crochet, followed by 1 double crochet, and then a chain of 3. We're going to slip stitch this chain of 3 to the base again. So here we have completed the second leaf. So we are going to make these leaves in the chain 1 space between the petals. So by the end of the round you should have a total of 5 leaves. So this is the last leaf, and we are going to slip stitch it to the first space, and then we are going to chain 1 and then trim off the yarn. So we are going to make these flowers of 5 petals. We are going to make 2 of them, and we are going to make one more flower with 6 petals in it. So here I have made 4 strands of these flowers, and I have joined 2 strands at the top. So here, as you can see, we have the 3 flowers. These 2 which are having 5 petals, we are going to join it in the chain 15 space. So this is the chain 15 space that we have between the flowers. So here we're going to tie this flower which has 5 petals. So another flower having 5 petals, we're going to tie it to the other side. So here at the bottom we are going to combine all the 4 strands, and then we are going to tie the flower with the 6 petal here. So once we have tied the flowers, we can trim off the extra yarn. And we can turn the garland to the right side, and here our beautiful garland is ready. You can customize this garland by changing the color of the yarn or by changing the length of it. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial as much as I did. Please do subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon for notifications on new videos, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Have a great time, guys.